Monday, March 11 AD 2024. Good evening and welcome to News Desk, 45 minutes of news about Liberia, Africa, and elsewhere. My name is Hensin Deka presenting. In the headlines, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission indicts 12 persons in connection to the alleged mismanagement of funds intended to improve healthcare delivery in Margibi County. Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia wants the Asset Recovery Task Force dissolved and funds directed to support the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission for the fight against corruption. National Port Authority indicts several persons following investigation into an alleged theft of 3 truckloads of rice from the free port of Monrovia recently. And away from Liberia, Nigerian President Bola Tinubu faces huge criticism following a decision to rename an airport in his honor. The details of these developments on news bulletin, the voices of the newsmakers post are all anticipated on today's edition of News Desk. We take a break to rejoin you. Thanks for being with us. Up next is Augustine Saab with the News Bulletin. Good evening.
A very pleasant good evening, Hansen. Good evening to our audience. The Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission has indicted 12 persons in connection to the alleged mismanagement of funds intended to improve healthcare delivery services in Margibi County. It can be recalled a late audio of Margibi County Health Officer Dr. Augustine Fania and other key members of the health team surfaced in the media last year, where they were heard discussing distribution of the media last year, where they were heard discussing that distribution of kickbacks from the county's health fund provided by UC intended to improve healthcare delivery to citizens in the area. Addressing a press conference Monday in Monrovia, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission Chairperson Councillor Alexandra Zoe said, following intensive investigation by the LACC and diligent legal proceedings, the 12 persons are indicted for academic sabotage, theft of property, tampering with public records, criminal facilitation, and conspiracy. Those indicted include County Health Officer Dr. Augustine Fania, Leroy Dowazia, Administrator Donu Harris, Procurement Officers William Johnson, Logistics Officer, and Roland Rees, Finance Officer, all members of the Margibi County Health Team. Others are Ernest Flynn, Thomas Bonite, Bakori Kori, Fomayan Taro, Mohamed Donna Odushad Kano, and Mombo Melo. The AICC chairperson, meanwhile, assured the public that the commission remains steadfast in combating corruption and ensuring accountability. The Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia wants the Asset Recovery Task Force dissolved and funds directed to support the Liberia Anti-Corruption, especially the Asset Recovery Unit at the LACC. Center to its Executive Director Anderson Myean noted that if the task force must be maintained, it should have been headed by the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission and not exclusive of the commission as it is currently. Myean said members appointed to task force must have track records of integrity and be perceived to be independent and politically neutral. He's therefore encouraging the government to respect the mandates of existing anti-corruption institutions and remain engaged with them in making decisions bordering on their mandate areas. Meanwhile, the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia is cautioning the independence of the assets recovery team set up by President Joseph Boakai. Centard welcomed President Boakai's determination to follow through on earlier statements regarding tackling corruption, but said the task force is not the appropriate channel for attainment of anti-corruption. According to Center Executive Director Anderson Miami, the task force is not independent because It is situated at the presidency and includes supporters of President Bwakai 2023 presidential bid. Myean lamented that the Tafos essentially assumes the role of Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, thereby making it a parallel LACC, calling the LACC Act of 2022 and Executive Order 126. The National Port Authority says it is investigation into an alleged theft involving the illicit departure of three trucks loaded with rice from the Monrovia port has indicted several persons. It can be recalled the incident occurred through the NPA exit gate Bravo around 3 a.m. on March 6, and the suspects were apprehended on the Japan Freeway. According to NPA Director of Public Relations Malcolm Scout, initiate, initial findings revealed that the officers stationed at the Alpha Gate failed to execute their duties adequately, allowing vehicles access to the port area without proper locking procedures. He said it was discovered that duty officer Zwanan Haynes and Ezekiel Collins sanctioned stationed at the Bradford Gate, Kolulet, with Shift Commander Robert Tier and Deputy Commander Charles Weir without the knowledge of the senior duty officer, Major Mark Walker, and an individual identified as Dawada. Scout said source of the rights was traced back to Futa Warehouse 7. He disclosed that based on the findings of the investigation, Robert Tier, Charles Weir, Zwanan Himes, and Ezekiel Colley have been charged with criminal conspiracy under Chapter 10.4 and criminal facilitation under Chapter 10.2, respectively. He further that the officers stationed at the Alpha Gate, George Boakai, Michael Johnson, and Abraham Tulu, faced charges of negligence of duty for their failure to prevent the unauthorized entry of trucks into the port premises. Malcolm Scout further disclosed that a collaborative investigation is underway with Liberia National Police and the Liberia Seaport Police to further probe the matter. National Housing Authority Managing Director Florence GB has vowed to transform the entity through innovation. Director GB, who emphasized the importance of collective efforts in fulfilling the NHA's mandate of providing low cost and affordable housing units across the country, will be the hallmark of the institution. The National Housing Authority Managing Director also used the medium to urge both senior and junior staff members to keep all hands on deck and contribute meaningful ideas to advance the National Housing Authority's objectives. Director JB has also underscored the vital role each staff member plays in realizing the organization's vision. Speaking at an acquaintance meeting on Monday, the NHA boss noted that the entity remains committed to its mission of addressing the housing needs of the Liberian people. In judicial news, the Moravia City Court has sent to jail 40 Mobile, an agent of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, for alleged criminal attempt to commit murder and aggravated assault. Defendant 40 Mobile, according to RCA judicial correspondent, went along with Stephen Jones in a local ghetto located in the Banjo Beach community to effect an arrest of a drug dealer identified as Charles Massaquer. The investigation uncovered that during the arrest, Officer Foley took along with him an unauthorized firearm with serial number L10988 and a handcuff. It was also discovered that he succeeded arresting Charles Massaquer, an alleged drug dealer, and had him handcuffed. The media did some disadvantaged use in their numbers prevented them from carrying Charles, and they attempted disarming him. During an altercation, his weapon went off twice, thus wounding victim Daniel Moore on the right side of his stomach. Our judicial correspondent further said defendant Foley Mobile An LDA agent who is not authorized to carry firearm was charged for possession and sale of objects for lighter use. The justice presiding in chambers at the Supreme Court has finally sacked three petitioners and the justice minister for a legal conference in connection to three separate petitions for a writ of prohibition against the government. Antonin Garrison Yeru, chairperson of the Governance Commission, Professor Wisin Tape, former executive director of the Environmental Agency, and LTA chairperson, Madam Ewina Sakpa, and others have since cautioned President Joseph Boakar's decision when he nominated some individuals to their respective positions. Associate Justice Yusuf Kabas Legal Conference slated for this Tuesday, March 12, according to RCI judicial correspondent, will determine whether the petitioner's request are legally fit for litigation before the full bench of the Supreme Court as provided by law. The three petitioners, through their lawyers, filed three separate petitions to the High Court saying that their clients' positions are tenure positions and should not be removed. A member of a group calling itself the Boakai think tank has expressed confidence that the Unity Party led government will establish the World and Economic Crimes Court in the country. Speaking to RCR News on Monday, when he made specific reference to individuals who were sanctioned by the American government, Alfred Tupa pointed out the edit statement by Senator Natanda McGill against the Boakai administration. Tokpa, in his statement, believes that the assets recovery team set up by the president is timely, adding that during the past administrations of President Salif and George Weah, those appointed to carry out such action did not implement as was expected by the public. Tokpa pointed out that gone are the days when people will misuse government resources and public properties for their own benefit. A United States-based charity organization, Foxcroft International, has donated drug testing kits to Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency. Making the donation Monday in Monrovia, the organization board chair Dorothy Logan said the gesture is intended to support the fight against illicit drugs in Liberia. She further assured the organization's commitment to collaborating with the LDEA in combating drugs in the country. Receiving the Athens LDEA Director General Abraham Kumar lauded the organization for the donation, terming as timely. According to him, agents of the LDA will be tested, threatening to disrupt and prosecute any of them tested positive of any narcotic substance. Meanwhile, the LDA has broken the door to the office door of the former Director General Michael Zayu. According to LDA Press and Public Affairs Officer Michael Gibley, the decision to break the door followed the former Director General refusal to turn over keys and access to the new administration. The newly elected leadership of the Legislative Press Pool has officially been inducted into office with a clarion call for President Gerald Kohene to all auxiliaries of the President of Liberia to resolve the crisis within the Union. On August 25, 2023, members of Legispool and Umbrella body of all professional journalists covering the Liberian legislature held their elective congress during the 54th legislature and unanimously elected a new corps of officers to steer the affairs of the institution for the next 2 years. Those elected include Gerald Kohine as President, Jackson Clay, Vice President Blambo Secretary General, and Bill Cooper, Assistant Secretary General, respectively, all were installed into office on the weekend in the joint chamber of the legislature. Delivering his inaugural address to fellow members, Legislative President Queen rallied all heads of auxiliaries to initiate dialogues aimed at ending the long-standing leadership crisis within the presidency of Liberia. Queen urged the heads of the Reporters Association of Liberia, Female Journalists Association of Liberia, Executive Marshal Press Corps, Association of Judicial Reporters Writers Association of Liberia, and Legispool to resolve the PUR crisis. Meanwhile, the Director of Press of the House of Representatives, Rabbi Himes, who administered the oath of office, challenged the Koine administration to tackle unprofessionalism. Also speaking, the Director of Press of the Liberian Senate, Alfred Johnson, pledged the Food Corporation of his office with the Legispool leadership in conducting refresher training for members on legislative reporting. The chairman of the Department of Forestry at the University of Liberia, Johnson Gipley, has called for the removal of the new Forestry Development Authority Managing Director, Rudolph Marab. The call by the Forestry Department chair comes following calls by students of the department calling for the removal of Rudolph Marab. According to Chairman Gipley, President Joseph Boakai appointment of Marab is a complete misplacement for the growth of the sector. Assistant Professor Johnson Gipley noted that the aide that established the institution calls for the FDA boss to be someone who has studied forestry and not other disciplines. He stated that Rudolph Merab obtained his degrees in physics and not in the field of forestry as such. He's not best suited to occupy such position. At the same time, Professor Johnson Gibley has disclosed the offices of the FDA will be used by the students of the Department of Forestry next week if President Joseph Boakai do not record Rudolph Merab. Some agri-flood victims of Gaza community in Seoul Clinic are calling for the immediate removal of the community chairman, Peter Wall. According to the victims, their benefits from the National Disaster Management Agency and other international partners have been mismanaged by the community leadership dating back 2015 to present. The victims allege that Chairman Wall's leadership has consistently included ghost names as beneficiaries from the inception of his administration. The victims also told Abasia News on Monday that their situation has intensified with appeal made to the National Disaster Management Agency, Liberia National Red Cross, falling on a deaf ears. That's Gabrieline Dabla, who spoke on behalf of the victims, said, based on consensus from the community stakeholders and residents, they have expressed a vote of no confidence, thereby calling on development partners not to do business with Mr. Ward. When contacted, Chairman Ward declined to comment on the matter, but said the community leadership will issue an official statement shortly. And in foreign development, there has been criticism in Nigeria of a decision to rename an airport after President Bola Tinubu. The government in the state of Niger said Minna International Airport had been renamed in recognition of the president's contribution towards developing the region. But some Nigerians have described it as a vanity project. President Tinubu is in Minna to inaugurate the remodeled airport, which was formerly known as Abu Bakar Imam International Airport, after a Nigerian writer and journalist who pioneered the region's first Hausa language newspaper. Last year, the aviation authorities announced plans to rename 15 airports after prominent Nigerians, including former presidents. Henson Decker, that's the news. Bulletin is back to you for the continuation of News Desk.
Thanks to the Augustine Sir for the news bulletin, the foreign development. The news bulletin, it is a regular feature on the news program. If you're just joining us in one of the top developments we are following, Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia wants the Asset Recovery Task Force dissolved and funds directed to support The Liberia Anti-Corruption for the Fight Against Corruption. Let's now bring you the voices of the newsmakers. The Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission has indicted 12 persons in connection to the alleged mismanagement of funds intended to improve the healthcare delivery services in Margibi County. It can be recalled a leaked audit of Margibi County Health Officer Dr. Augustine Fanian and other key members of the health team surfaced in the media last year, where they were heard discussing distribution of kickbacks from the county's health fund provided by USAID intended to improve healthcare delivery to citizens in the county. Addressing a press conference Monday, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission Chairperson Councillor Alexandra Zoe said following extensive investigation by the LECC and diligent legal proceedings, the 12 persons are indicted for economic sabotage, theft of property, tampering with public records, criminal felicitation, and conspiracy.
Law enforcement officers are currently making efforts to have the indictment served on the rest of the defendants. Meanwhile, all of the defendants are to be tried during the May 8, 2024 term of Court Margibi County. The LECC assures the public that the Commission remains steadfast in its commitment to combating corruption and ensuring accountability at all levels of society. Corruption undermines the foundation of justice, fairness, and equitable governance, and as such, we are resolute in our pursuit of justice. We commend the hard work and dedication of our investigative team and our prosecutors of the LACC who led this process to prosecution. We also laud the cooperation and the support of our partners in the law enforcement and the judiciary, whose collaboration has been instrumental to bringing these indictments forward. As we proceed with the upcoming trial, we affirm our dedication to upholding the rule of law and holding accountable those who seek to undermine it for personal gain.
Alexandra Zoe is the chairperson of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. Still in more developments on the news program here tonight. Some aggrieved flood victims of the Gaza community in Seoul Clinic are calling for the immediate removal of the community chairman, Peter Ward. According to the victims, their benefits from the National Disaster Management Agency and other international partners have been mismanaged by the community leadership dating back 2015 to present. The victims allege that Chairman Ward's leadership has consistently included ghost names as beneficiaries from the inception of his administration. The chairman of the Department of Forestry at the University of Liberia, Johnson Dibley, has called for the removal of the new Forestry Development Authority Managing Director Rudolph Mirab. The call by the Forestry Department chair comes following calls by students of the department calling for the removal of Rudolph Mirab. According to Chairman Dibley, President Joseph Walker's appointment of Mirab is a complete misplacement for the growth of the sector.
The president started office very dangerous, worrisome, and sad, especially by the appointment of a big man, Mr. Rudolph J. Garage, as the SBA Market and individuals will think that this brought about this the law that created agency and a clear manifestation of quote unquote the external world distribution. I am not challenging the president's powers to appoint government officials according to Article 54 of the Liberian Constitution, but the provision is guided by the act that created the FDA, which contains a set of criteria upon which such appointments should be made. The guidance provided by the statute establishing the FDA doesn't in any way contravene the president's right to appoint public officials. The president is under oath to protect and defend the Constitution and all other laws of Liberia. Against this backdrop, he promised the nation that his rescue team will ride on the rails of rule of law, and that there will no longer be quote unquote business as usual in government. The FBA Act is the law. Imposing this trained freedom right, who is not quote unquote professionally qualified in forestry, on the FBA is in quote business addiction. Selling of logs, plants, or numbers doesn't qualify anyone as professional forester. Miran's appointment has been greeted with a series of protest actions by the College of Agriculture and Forestry Students Association, CAPSA. The president went ahead to smuggle him into the FDA headquarters on Friday.
The voice of Chairman Johnson G played there at the University of Liberia. Speaking at the news conference, the National Port Authority says its investigation into an alleged theft involving the illicit departure of three trucks loaded with rice from the Morovia port has indicted several persons. It can be recalled the incident occurred through the NPA exit gate around 3 a.m. on March 6, and the suspects were apprehended on the Japan Freeway. According to NPA Director of Public Relations Malcolm Scott, initial findings revealed that the officers stationed at the Alpha Gate failed to execute their duties adequately, allowing vehicles access to the port area without proper locking procedures.
Initial findings revealed that the officers stationed at the Alpha Gate failed to execute their duties adequately, thus allowing immediate access to the post facility without the proper login procedure. Additionally, it was discovered that duty officer Joanna X and CPN Connie stationed at the Bravo Gate colluded with Ship Commander Volunteer and Deputy Commander Jarvis without the knowledge of some duty officer Bravo. And an individual identified as one. This pollution was simply about unauthorized exit of the three trucks loaded with rice to the Bravo Gate on the morning hours of March 6, 2024 at about 3:22 a.m. The source of the rice was traced back to warehouse number 7. The vehicles involved bearing license plates C41018, H03642, and C4342 as two license plates operated by Police Roma, a resident of New York, Mohammed Roma, a resident of Japan, and Khalid Saidi, a resident of Bloomington. Based on these preliminary findings from the investigation, Bravo Tier, Charles Beer, Swana Finch, Ziga Collin have been charged with criminal conspiracy under Chapter 10.4 and criminal facilitation under Chapter 10 and 2 respectively. Additionally, the officers stationed at the Alpha Gate, George Whitehead, Michael Johnson, and Abraham Jali were charged for negligence of duty for respective posts by lying or otherwise exit obstruction as posted. Currently, a collaborative investigation is underway with the Liberian National Police, the LFP, and the Liberian Security, the LFP, for this matter.
Malcolm Scott is the Director of Communications at the National Port Authority. They're bringing us to the sporting developments on the news program. Let's now welcome Naomi Tapia. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Henson. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Passion of Life. Emmanuel Boniface scored 4 goals as FC Calon Liberia charged Kingsway FC 4-1 on Sunday. At SKD in Pengsu City, the win put Cologne in a better position of relegation survival. The match was round 21 of the 2023-24 RFA First Division League. In other results, Nimakwado lost 1-0 at home to Leska FC in Sinikuli. The Raiders of Mighty Barrow also lost at home to Watanga with the same score in Basel. B Mountain defeated Heavy 11 in an entertaining 3-2 win at the ATS in the league kickoff, while IE pinned MPA Anchors 1-0 in the early match. The defeat confirmed MPA Anchors relegation to the second division based on statistics. LPRC Otters also got a 3-1 win over Global Farmer at the Tusa field. Clubs Personal Association of Liberia chairperson Chris Giblewia has wished his Muslim brothers and sisters the best as they have observed the month of Ramadan. In a statement issued on Monday, Wia said Ramadan is a time of blessing and it is a special month in which God hears prayer and directs the path of his followers during the fasting. The Liberian businessman who recently declared his intention to contest the Liberia Football Association presidency in April 2026 elective Congress message comes at a time when sports events continue amid the observance of the holy month. Grace deeply we urge athletes observing the Ramadan to monitor their health and be guided at all times, emphasizing the importance of discipline and commitment both in sports and in observing the month of Ramadan. Wia's message underscored the intersection of faith and sports, highlighting the role of spiritual observance, like Ramadan, in shaping athletes' discipline and resilience. Guests of Summer at the weekend suffered a shocking defeat against Ecclesia 9-0 home runs in the Liberia Kickball Federation National League that commenced at the weekend. Firemen triumphed over Thompson Kickball Club 3-1 in the day's second encounter, while Sowa bowed to Mighty Blue Eagles 0-2 home runs. Brazilian girls suffered a narrow 4-5 home runs defeat against Aries in the day's fourth encounter to prove supremacy over one of the oldest teams in the sport history. Success Kickball Club dread GSA Kickball Club 10-3, and Guests of Zion managed a 3-1 victory against Camara Kickball Club. Former defending champions Community Youth Empowerment or CYE were overpowered by Destiny Kickball Club 5-4 home runs to conclude Saturday's fixtures. In Sunday's results, Kesari Kana United or KK United came out victorious over Sarah's 4-2 in the day's first encounter, while United Sisters succumbed to Yasmo pressure by conceding 7-4 home runs defeat. Balanceville Superstars and Supreme Sisters settled for a 1-all draw in continuation of the league. Platon pinned Amazon 1-0, while Ghost United bowed to Axe Sisters 2-4. The Manchester City goalkeeper Ederson is set to miss up to 4 weeks with the muscle injury he sustained in Sunday's Premier League draw with Liverpool. Ederson was hurt when he fouled striker Darwin Nunes for a Liverpool penalty from which the hosts equalized. Although the Brazilian carried on after receiving treatment, he had he had to be replaced soon after by Stefan Ortega. Ederson 30 is set to miss City's next Premier League game at home to title rivals Arsenal on 31 March. He will also miss this Saturday's FA Cup quarter-final at home to Newcastle, which is followed by the latest international break. City have assessed the extent of the damage and told the Brazilian FA that Ederson will not be fit for international duty. That's all for our sports desk.
Thanks, Naomi Tapia, for these sporting developments. It is a segment on the news program. Still in more news, the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia wants the Asset Recovery Task Force dissolving funds directed to support the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, especially the Asset Recovery Unit at the LECC. Center its Executive Director Ernest Miami noted that if the task force must be maintained, it should have been headed by the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission and not exclusively of the Commission as it is currently. Miami said members appointed to the task force must have track records of integrity and be perceived to be independent and politically neutral.
We are of the opinion that the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission is empowered by law to recover assets lost to corruption. Hence, as has been done with Executive Order number 126, requiring provision of funds, we believe that the LACC should be adequately supported to fulfill its mandate. We therefore recommend the following. One, that the asset recovery task force be dissolved and funds directed to support LACC, especially the asset recovery unit of the commission, as President Waka acted against his initial plan of commissioning international auditors and became confident in the General Auditing Commission's ability to deliver. We believe that similar wisdom can be applied to repose confidence in the LACC in fulfillment of its mandate. Two, if the task force must be maintained, it has to be led by the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission and not exclusive of the commission as it is currently. Also, members appointed to the task force must have track records of integrity and be perceived to be independent and or politically neutral. We encourage the government to respect the mandates of existing anti-corruption institutions and remain engaged with them in making decisions bordering on their mandate areas if the desired results or outcomes must be achieved. Laws establishing key anti-graft institutions provide for their operational and financial independence. It is therefore surprising that a task force mandated to recover stolen assets resides in the office of the president, example, Ministry of State. Central believes that such move is reminiscent of the past where anti-graft functions were an extension of the presidency and were used at the whims and caprices of the president. Also, Central holds the view that anti-corruption efforts need not be politicized, with anti-corruption efforts often regarded as witch hunts. Any related mechanism having a dependent or political character will soon crumble under the weight of machination. It is for this reason that persons leading anti-corruption efforts at integrity institutions are required to be politically neutral. It is for similar reasons that we now have laws requiring open and competitive recruitment to anti-graft institutions.
Meanwhile, the Center Executive Director is questioning the independence of the asset recovery team set up by President Joseph Boakai. Center welcomed President Boakai's determination to follow through on earlier statements regarding tackling corruption, but said the task force is not the appropriate channel for the attainment of anti-corruption.
Section 5.2F of the LACC Act of 2022 provides that the Commission shall serve as the primary agency of the government of Liberia authorized to make and receive requests for the purpose of international mutual legal assistance in the combat against corruption. While considering of the Executive Order number 126 mandates the task force to employ diplomatic and Interpol means to extradite individuals identified as suspects that are outside the bailiwick of Liberia in order to bring them under the jurisdiction of the investigative team. With LACC being the primary agencies of government authorized to make and receive requests regarding international mutual legal assistance, including for extradition, Central believes that LACC is being further undermined or its function is being dissolved. Stand 3. Section 5.2N of the LACC Act provides that LACC serves as the agency of government of Liberia for the purpose of commencing legal proceedings on behalf of and in the name of the government of Liberia or of any public body, organization, or entity to recover any loss suffered by the government or such public body, organization, or entity, or any benefit received by any person or person, natural or legal, as a result of any act of corruption.
The voice of Anderson Miami Center's Executive Director. The newly elected leadership of the legislative branch, who has officially been inducted into offices with a clarion call from President Gerald Coyden to all auxiliaries of the President of Liberia to resolve the crisis within the Union. President Myean delivering his inaugural address to fellow members rallied all heads of auxiliaries to initiate dialogues aimed at ending the long-standing leadership crisis within the President of Liberia.
Fellow colleagues, we cannot stay here today and only talk about religious food, but our mission is the first leader of Liberia, the mother organization that gives birth to all auxiliaries. It is no secret that the Queen is in a crisis that came as a result of power struggle. While at some point it seems that it was impossible to solve the situation, recent unfolding developments show that we can sit at a table once again, settle our differences. Therefore, I call on all heads of auxiliaries, the Reporter Association of Liberia, Kingdom Journalist Association of Liberia, the International Press Corps, Judiciary Reporters, the Sports Writer Association of Liberia, and our own religious group to take the lead and engage all parties to sit at a table to begin a conversation that aim at finding a general solution to our internal crisis.
Gerald Koyen is the president of the Legislative Press Pool there speaking during his inauguration. A United States-based charity organization, Flowers International, has donated drug testing kits to the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, making the donation Monday in Monrovia. The organization board chair Dorothy Logan said the gesture is intended to support the fight against illicit drugs in Liberia.
On behalf of FASA International Charity, we have been fighting the work in Liberia. That is seeing our sisters and brothers, the future leaders of Liberia, being destroyed by drugs and other stuff. We watch news every time we see them. And for our director, we want to say thank you for your hard work. And in doing that, we just brought a little token. These are 119 drug kits. There are 3 different drug kits in here that we just brought as a little token to this department in the Republic of Liberia. And we are hoping to collaborate as time goes on. But yeah, so we want to say thank you.
Receiving the items, LDA Director General Ibrahim Kurman lauded the organization for the donation, terming it as timely.
This is timely. You know why? Because the Bible is still full of different new reader officers. We'll be doing the regular testing of our officers. This will go a long way to doing that. I want to make sure that everyone here is drug free. You can't be enforcing drug law and you are a drug addict. So I told all of them, you have to understand that. So we'll use this. We'll put it for more this, but we'll use this so that we not have a drug free as the country we're pushing.
Ibrahim Kurman is LDA Director General there. Speaking earlier was the voice of a US-based Liberian Dorothy Logan. Lastly, today's development, a member of a group calling itself the Bwaka Think Tank has expressed confidence that the Unity Party-led government would establish the War and Economic Crimes Court in the country. Speaking to RSN News on Monday when he made specific reference to individuals who were sanctioned by the American government, Alfred Tupa pointed out that the edit statement by Senator Nathan Mangira against the Bwaka administration is wrong.
The president has set up an asset recovery committee. I think this is one of the laudable steps that well-meaning Liberia want to appreciate. There have been a lot of government assets around here that have been going into individual pockets. People took government vehicles, people use ministry and agency names to procure material from stores, and they carry those items to their personal home. So the asset recovery committee will also help. People use their position to take money that belongs to the country and pocket it for their family. So we feel that the asset recovery committee will also help in that direction. Another thing has to do with the issue of war and economic crimes establishment. I'm listening to some start by night time here and there the bread and butter issue that we settled before World Cup. President Sani took power to sell the bread and butter issue. 12 year NNW. President, we have took power to sell bread and butter issue. 12 year NNW. In fact, it is because of the culture of the village that making a bread and butter issue difficult in this country.
Alfred Tupa is the head of a group calling itself Bwaka Think Tank. Some aggrieved floor victims of Gaza community in Soul Clinic are calling for the immediate removal of the community's chairman, Peter Ward. According to the victims, their benefits from the National Disaster Management Agency and other international partners have been mismanaged by the community leadership dating back 2015 to present. Gabrielin Dablat, the spokesperson on behalf of the group, said based on consensus from the community stakeholders and residents, they have expressed a vote of no confidence in Mr. Ward.
We extend our compliment and best wishes to you as we, the aggrieved flood victims of Gaza community, A to E are constrained to bring to your attention that the benefits of flood victims have been manipulated and corrupted by ghosts and relative means over the years. Ranging from 2015 to present by leaders in the authority that given their fears our many cries after series of communication, engagement, and appeal. Of recent, the leadership of Mr. Peter S. Ward, our situation has intensified with immense effort made. So the National Disaster Management Agency, the Bureau, National Red Cross, and representative of District 4 for all effort made and of fruitless. With continued downplay to our requests and grievances. Moreover, based on consensus from the community stakeholders, and whether the constitutional bodies we have resolved rejection in the entire leadership of Chairman Ward and do hereby express a vote of no confidence.
The voice of Gabrielin Dabla there expressing vote of no confidence in the Gaza community chairman, bringing us to the end of today's edition of the news program News Desk. As we take leave of you, these are the top stories we have been following on today's edition of the news program. Just in the news, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission indicts 12 persons in connection to the alleged mismanagement of funds intended to improve healthcare delivery in Myean County. Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia wants the Asset Recovery Task Force dissolved and funds directed to support the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission for the fight against corruption. National Port Authority indicts several persons following investigation into an alleged theft of 3 truckloads of rice from the free port of Monrovia. And away from Liberia, Nigerian President Bola Tinubu faces huge criticism following a decision to rename an airport in his honor. Many thanks to our correspondents, writers, reporters, editors, and those who helped in making today's edition of News Desk a success. Now, Tapia read for us the sporting developments. Augustine Sarr brought us the news bulletin, the foreign development. Myean Torgbean sat behind the camera. Johnson Batoma ably coordinated today's edition of News Desk. For on behalf of the news team, my name is Hansen Dekara Presenter. Good evening.
I would like to fund my account at any time, even here.
Right here, right now.
Here too!
Without moving an inch.
Here will be just perfect.
Henceforth, send money to your Orange Money account from your bank account and vice versa directly from your mobile phone. A simple and fast solution that is always available to ensure a permanent access to your Orange Money services. Anywhere, anytime, send money to your Orange Money account from your bank account from your mobile phone to cash out, to recharge, to transfer, to pay, to buy. To subscribe to this service, go to your bank branch office, partner to the Orange Money service. It's all about what matters to you. Orange.
Let me make sure I got all the sanitary items I need. I'm checking my list. Oh yes, one more item. Let me have a big bottle of Dettol, across the board.
Yes, the total amount is 3,000 LD.
Okay, let me give you your money. Hey, my people, I can't find my purse. I left it on my kitchen table. My husband is rushing me too much. What thing I'll do now?
Don't worry, Costa Homo. You can pay with your phone. Here's the code here on the wall.
Awesome! Yes, I do have money on my phone.
With Orange Money, making payments for goods at your favorite store with your merchant is as easy as ABC. Dial *144#, select currency, select Pay with Orange Money, and follow the instructions. With Orange Money, life is easier. No stress.
Orange.
When it comes to communication in Liberia, Orange is number one.
Orange is the best. Orange is the best. Oh, Orange is the best.
Orange is the best.
Strongest network, widest coverage.
Orange is the best.
Fastest internet speed.
Orange is the best.
People, Orange is the best. Yes, Orange is the best.
Lavakitie, Naratama, what is the woo? Company Guinea, that's the Iboga Orange, top of number 1. So we need
Company is my Orange, I don't got the best.
Orange, will want you that telephone on.
Reliable, trusted, and dependable.
Orange is about 7. Yeah, Orange is wrong.
Orange is the best.
It's all about what matters to you. Orange.